somebody goes and puts that much synthol in their arms, I think it has to be, unless they're completely insane.
It's just a disaster, a recipe for disaster. It really, really is.
They looked unstoppable, titans of muscle and discipline, admired by fans and feared by rivals. Behind the stage lights, however, their bodies were pushed past every limit.
This, all of this, is pure product that you've injected.
Steroids, hormones, and relentless training masking the strain within. What seemed like perfection came at a hidden cost. Hearts under pressure, organs failing, lives cut tragically short.
Let me see your arm. See, look, he's already having problems. Do you see how it's right there?
Join us as we explore their rise, their obsession, and the moments their bodies finally gave out. Greg Valentino. Few names in bodybuilding are as instantly recognizable as Greg Valentino, a man who pushed the limits of human arm size to extremes few could imagine. His biceps, measuring a staggering 28 inches, earned him worldwide fame. But these extraordinary muscles were not built by training alone. Behind them was a risky mix of steroids and synthol, an oil used to inflate muscles artificially.
The short-term medical problems with steroids are relatively modest, and that is one of the reasons that people are tempted to use them.
In the early stages of his career, Valentino's hunger for bigger muscles led him to anabolic steroids. This obsession was partly driven by a condition known in the fitness world as bigorexia, a compulsive need to grow larger and larger. It wasn't long before Valentino became a lightning rod in the underground bodybuilding scene, admired by some and criticized by others. His massive arms were iconic, but their unnatural shape revealed the cost of obsession. For him, the pursuit of extreme size was a dangerous game that could, and eventually did, spiral out of control.
It's a choice in bodybuilding. When guys say, well, I'm natural, taking steroids is a choice too.
His endless use of steroids also drew him into the black market. In 2001, the law caught up with him when he was arrested for illegal steroid distribution, a crime with serious legal consequences in the U.S. This forced Valentino to step back from extreme bodybuilding and reconsider his life. But the consequences of his past choices soon caught up with him physically. Valentino suffered repeated injuries and infections from synthol injections, including severe abscesses that required surgery. One infection nearly killed him, leaving him fighting to save an arm. His biceps even began to swell uncontrollably, a condition called muscle compartment syndrome, which eventually led to ruptured muscles. Chronic pain, torn muscles, and permanent scarring became a constant part of his life. Years of steroid use also put enormous strain on his heart, liver, and kidneys, leaving him with lasting damage. His health struggles didn't end there. In 2020, Valentino was diagnosed with throat cancer. What first appeared to be a benign lump turned out to be malignant. Surgery during the height of the COVID-19 pandemic in New York City made recovery even harder. Valentino described the experience as harrowing. He vomited blood, underwent a botched initial surgery that required a second procedure, and woke up disoriented, restrained, and without proper medical care. It was a traumatic ordeal that tested him in ways bodybuilding never had.
Well, 1 week later, I had a bad bleed, and that's the thing that almost really killed me.
Today, Valentino no longer encourages illegal steroid use. He warns that the physical and legal costs are far too high. As a columnist for Muscular Development magazine, he shares his experiences with young athletes, hoping to prevent them from repeating his mistakes. His column, Ramblin' Freak, lets him speak honestly about bodybuilding, drugs, and pop culture. Andreas Munzer. As a young Austrian, Andreas Munzer idolized Arnold Schwarzenegger. Inspired by his countryman's success, he devoted himself entirely to bodybuilding, sculpting a physique that became legendary for its extreme definition. His muscles appeared carved from stone, every fiber, every vein, every separation visible. And on stage, he was a showstopper, embodying aesthetic perfection for fans around the world. Features in Flex and Muscle magazine. International soon pushed him into the sports spotlight. Munzer's career began in the mid-1980s. At the 1986 European Amateur Championships, he placed 6th, then secured 3rd at the 1987 and 1988 World Amateur Championships. By 1989, he reached the top, winning the heavyweight division at the World Games and stepping onto bodybuilding's biggest stage, the Mr. Olympia contest. Through the early 1990s, he became known as one of the most disciplined competitors in the sport, earning strong placements at the Arnold Classic, the Ironman Pro Invitational, and Grand Prix events across Europe. In 1993, he stunned the world by finishing 2nd at the Night of Champions. Subsequent years brought more acclaim: 5th at the 1994 Arnold Classic, 9th at that year's Olympia, and 4th at the 1995 Arnold Classic. His final season in 1996 saw him place 6th at the Arnold Classic and 7th at the San Jose Pro Invitational, solidifying his reputation as the master of extreme conditioning. Behind the extraordinary look, however, Munzer's body was under constant assault. To achieve his signature razor-sharp definition, he relied heavily on anabolic steroids, potassium-sparing diuretics, and other dangerous compounds. Water and mineral manipulation were pushed to extremes, removing every ounce of fluid retention. While the results were visually stunning, they placed brutal strain on his internal organs. Steroids burdened his liver, kidneys, and heart, while chronic dehydration left his body in a fragile, vulnerable state. Every competition prep was a gamble with his health, a high-stakes game that grew riskier with each passing year. By March 1996, the consequences became undeniable. Following yet another extreme prep, Munzer was hospitalized with severe abdominal pain. Doctors quickly discovered internal bleeding and critical organ failure. Despite emergency intervention and blood transfusions, his liver and kidneys were too damaged to recover. On March 14th, at just 31 years old, Andreas Munzer passed away. The autopsy revealed the devastating cost of his pursuit. His body had almost no fat. His liver was riddled with tumors. Half of it decayed into a polystyrene-like texture. His heart had nearly doubled in size, his testicles had shriveled, and his potassium levels were fatally high. Traces of almost 20 drugs remained in his system, evidence of the extreme measures he had taken to reach perfection. Paul Dillet. In the 1990s, bodybuilding entered an era of extremes, with athletes pushing their bodies to limits never seen before. Towering and massive, with comic book-sized muscles and veins tracing across their skin, these competitors were called freaks. Among them, Paul Dillet stood out above all.
Paul has the most enormous muscles that I have ever seen.
His massive, sculpted muscles and near-perfect proportions made him a living spectacle. But behind the impressive physique was a harsh reality. Achieving it came at a dangerous cost. To reach his peak form, Paul pushed himself to the absolute limit. He relied on severe dehydration, electrolyte manipulation, and other risky practices to achieve the dry, shredded look demanded by professional bodybuilding. The turning point in Paul Dillet's career came in 1994 at the Arnold Classic, where he was one of the top favorites to win. His physique was at its peak, massive, defined, and imposing, and fans and judges alike expected him to dominate the stage. But what happened next would shock the bodybuilding world. During the early rounds, everything seemed fine. Paul walked the stage confidently, performing as expected. But after about 30 minutes, during his double biceps pose, his body began to betray him. Severe muscle cramps set in, caused by improper diuretic use and extreme dehydration. The spasms were intense, forcing him to step off stage in visible pain. Despite the warning signs, Paul refused fluids and returned to the stage after a short break, greeted by applause from the audience who assumed he had recovered. He began posing again, but it was clear he was not in control. Midway through the double biceps pose, his body suddenly locked up completely. Every muscle in his arms, legs, and torso seized in a full-body spasm, leaving him frozen in place. Paramedics rushed to his side as the audience watched in stunned silence. His transition off stage was awkward and tense. He could barely move, relying on marshals to help him navigate safely. Behind the scenes, doctors revealed how dangerously close he had come to a life-threatening collapse. Severe dehydration and electrolyte imbalance had triggered the seizure, and one more strain or misstep could have led to a heart attack. The incident left a lasting mark on Paul, both physically and mentally. Though he survived without permanent organ damage, the experience forced him to confront the extreme risks of the methods he had been using to achieve his peak condition. In that moment, it became painfully clear that no trophy, no applause, and no record was worth endangering his life. After the incident, Paul Dillet made a conscious choice to step back from the highest levels of competition. He took a year off from the stage, returning in 1996 to finish third at both the Arnold Classic and the Grand Prix in the Czech Republic. Paul's final competition was the 2006 Montreal Pro, though he officially retired from professional bodybuilding in 2012. During his career, he appeared in many of the world's most prominent bodybuilding and fitness magazines, gracing covers and being featured in articles that documented his remarkable physique. After retiring, Paul shifted his focus to business and entrepreneurship. He opened personal training ventures and, in 2007, became the owner and CEO of the World Bodybuilding and Fitness Federation. Through the federation, he promoted safer practices in bodybuilding, providing athletes with an alternative path that emphasized health over extreme risk. Rich Piana. For most people, a fascination with bodybuilding begins in their teens, but for Richard Eugene Piana, it started at just 6 years old. While watching his mother prepare for competitions, he began dreaming of climbing the same stages as she did. Inspired further by old-school bodybuilder Bill Cambra, he quickly found the path he wanted to follow. By 11, he was lifting weights, and by 15, he stepped onto the stage for the first time, signaling the start of a career that would capture worldwide attention. In 1989, Piana won his first major title, the NPC Mr. Teen California Crown, marking the beginning of a journey defined by extreme dedication and an unrelenting pursuit of size. Nearly a decade later, in 1998, he claimed the NPC Mr. California title, steadily becoming a dominant presence in the sport. His victories continued with the 2003 Los Angeles Super Heavyweight Division, the 2009 Sacramento Super Heavyweight Division, and both the Super Heavyweight and overall titles at the 2009 Border States Classic. His massive physique also earned him magazine covers, from Iron Man in 1998 to Muscle Sport in 2015. By the mid-2010s, Piana's influence had expanded far beyond the stage. With over 1.2 million Instagram followers and hundreds of thousands of YouTube subscribers, he became a major online presence. At expos and through countless videos, he spoke openly about his steroid use, sharing personal experiences while warning young athletes of the dangers. His honesty, combined with his larger-than-life personality, made him both controversial and widely respected. Then came the shocking incident that would end his life. On August 7, 2017, while getting a haircut at his home in Clearwater, Florida, Piana suddenly lost consciousness and fell, striking his head. His partner, Jansen, immediately called emergency services and performed CPR until the paramedics arrived. Piana's heart had stopped, and although it was restarted, too much time had passed without oxygen reaching his brain. White powder, a straw, and a credit card found nearby raised questions, but Johnson explained that no cocaine or heroin was involved. Piana occasionally inhaled caffeine-based pre-workout powders. Despite being placed in a medically induced coma, the brain damage proved irreversible. After 2 weeks of treatment to reduce swelling, he passed away on August 25, 2017, at just 46 years old. The autopsy revealed severe heart disease, with both his heart and liver weighing more than twice the size of normal organs. Years of steroid and hormone use had transformed Piana's body from the inside out, yet even he had not realized how suddenly the danger could strike. Missing toxicology reports left the official cause of death inconclusive, fueling speculation and debate about his final hours. Boston Lloyd. Growing up in California, in a household where both his parents were bodybuilders, Boston Lloyd was immersed in the culture from an early age. By the time he reached 21, he had a tattoo reading, "Get big or die trying," a big tell of his all-in commitment to the sport. Unlike many athletes, he spoke openly about every hormone, every cycle, and every risky strategy he used to build his body. His transparency made him both famous and controversial, dividing fans and critics alike. From a young age, Boston was fascinated by transformation, pushing himself relentlessly to achieve extreme results. He became a symbol for a generation willing to chase size and definition without sugarcoating the risks. His social media posts and videos detailing steroid cycles, hormones, and other dangerous protocols went viral, attracting thousands of curious followers and aspiring bodybuilders eager to understand the realities behind the stage lights. However, each cycle took a toll on his body. Long-term steroid use, extreme training, and self-administered experimental compounds left him with serious health issues. By 2020, he was diagnosed with stage 5 kidney failure after using a peptide known for causing weight loss in animal studies. He later acknowledged the consequences, stating, "I did this to myself with an idiotic experiment, and it finally all caught up to me. Do I regret anything? Absolutely not." Alongside kidney failure, he struggled with anxiety and depression, as his condition made future competitions unlikely. On February 25, 2022, at just 29 years old, Boston collapsed at home and passed away. A private autopsy revealed a dissecting aneurysm of the ascending aorta. It also showed a significantly thickened heart muscle, an enlarged liver, and kidney damage, showing the severe toll his body endured from years of extreme bodybuilding and substance use. Dallas McCarver. Born in Memphis, Tennessee, Dallas McCarver first lifted weights to improve his high school football performance, but it quickly became clear that he possessed a natural gift for strength and size. This early promise set the stage for a career that would capture the attention of the bodybuilding world. McCarver quickly made his mark in local competitions, winning the super heavyweight class at the 2011 NPC battle, at the River Championships, and the NPC Hub City Fitness Quest. By 2012, he stunned the sport by capturing both the NPC and IFB North American titles, securing his place as one of the most promising athletes of his generation.
I'm fortunate enough to be successful doing it, and I mean, what more could a man want?
At just 21, he became the youngest professional bodybuilder ever to win a pro qualifier event. Over the next 5 years, McCarver transformed his 6-foot 1-inch frame into a staggering 300 pounds of muscle. He dominated major competitions, including the 2015 IFBB California State and the 2016 Chicago IFBB Pro, before making his mark on bodybuilding's most prestigious stage, the Mr. Olympia. In 2016, he placed 8th among the world's elite, a remarkable achievement for a career still in its early years. The next year, while competing at the Arnold Classic in Australia, McCarver collapsed on stage during a posing routine. Hospitalized briefly, he was advised to undergo follow-up medical evaluation upon returning to the United States. but he resumed training without completing the recommended checks. On the night of August 22, 2017, tragedy struck. After speaking with his girlfriend around 10 in the evening, McCarver was later found unconscious by his roommate, fellow bodybuilder Josh Lenartowicz, with dinner scattered around him. Emergency services rushed him to the hospital, but McCarver did not survive. Initial reports suggested choking, but the autopsy revealed a far more complex reality. Released 3 months later, the autopsy revealed that McCarver had died from an acute cardiac event. His heart weighed 833 grams, nearly 3 times the size of a normal heart, and was filled with heavy plaques obstructing its arteries. His left ventricle was dangerously enlarged, a condition prone to fatal arrhythmias. His liver and kidneys were abnormally large and severely damaged, while his lungs bore scarring consistent with pulmonary fibrosis. Papillary thyroid cancer was also discovered, alongside clear signs of long-term hormone and steroid use. His medical history painted a sobering picture. McCarver had dangerously high cholesterol, liver damage, and respiratory issues, indicating failing lungs. Blood tests showed testosterone levels far above natural limits, coupled with the presence of trenbolone, caffeine, marijuana, and evidence of insulin use. At just 26, his relentless pursuit of size and strength had exacted the ultimate cost. Mohammed Benaziza. Famously known as Momo and nicknamed the Giant Killer, Mohammed Benaziza carved a unique place in bodybuilding history by proving that size alone does not define greatness. Beginning his athletic journey in France, he was a dedicated soccer player until discovering weight training, which soon became his true passion.
And there are certain tricks that those guys are using now where they stay away from the big guys.
His commitment quickly paid off when he entered his first competition in Spain, winning the under 75 kilogram category. That victory marked the start of a career defined by steady progress and international success. Standing at just 1.61 meters, Benaziza consistently outshone competitors far taller and heavier than himself. His dense, sharply defined muscles, particularly his back, seemed to leap off the stage in near three-dimensional detail. Even legends like Dorian Yates admitted to using Benaziza's photos as motivation during their own training, a testament to the impact of his physique. In 1990, Benaziza achieved a career-defining triumph at the Night of Champions in New York, defeating rising star Dorian Yates. That victory earned him the nickname Killer of Giants from bodybuilding pioneer Joe Weider. Over the following years, he became known for his dense, powerful physique and exceptional conditioning, consistently standing out in every contest he entered. He went on to compete in the Mr. Olympia contest 3 times, placing as high as 5th in 1992, while also claiming Grand Prix titles across Europe in England, Finland, France, Germany, and Italy. His ability to consistently place high against the very best made him a symbol of the new generation of bodybuilders rising in the early 1990s. Behind his remarkable success, however, the toll on his body was immense. Mohammed's training was grueling, his diets strict, and his preparation often involved high-risk, performance-enhancing substances. Weeks before his sudden death, he reportedly experienced shortness of breath and general weakness, clear signs of extreme physiological strain. Yet he refused medical attention, driven by the relentless desire to compete at the highest level. Sadly, only weeks after his strong showing at the 1992 Mr. Olympia, Benaziza competed again in the Netherlands. Hours after the contest, he was found lifeless in his hotel room on October 4, 1992, at just 33 years old. Reports suggested that a last-minute injection given shortly before the competition may have contributed to his sudden collapse, as his already overworked heart and cardiovascular system could no longer cope with the strain. Greg Kovac. Remembered as one of the largest bodybuilders in history, Greg Kovac was a man whose sheer mass made him a living legend. Captivated as a teenager by the muscular physiques featured in bodybuilding magazines, he dedicated himself to the sport early on. By college, he was training intensively, laying the foundation for a career defined by extreme size and dedication. Greg earned his IFBB Pro card in 1996, officially entering professional bodybuilding. Standing 6 feet 4 inches, he competed at a contest weight of 330 to 342 pounds and reached 420 pounds in the off-season. At the 2004 Arnold Classic, he weighed 400 pounds on stage. Though he did not win, his massive frame, imposing proportions, and overwhelming presence set him apart from his peers and made him unforgettable. To build such a colossal physique, Kovac relied on intense weightlifting, a hypercaloric diet, and high-level anabolic substances and hormones. Every aspect of his lifestyle was designed to maximize size, often prioritizing mass over symmetry or conditioning. Fans admired his raw mass and audacity, yet behind the scenes, his body endured immense strain. Chronic back pain, joint issues, and limited mobility were constant companions, while sustaining nearly 200 kilograms of muscle placed extraordinary pressure on his cardiovascular system. Years of extreme training and supplementation ultimately took a heavy toll. His heart labored under relentless stress, struggling to keep pace with the demands of his size and lifestyle. Despite his extraordinary genetics and remarkable muscle mass, Kovac's body could not endure the burden indefinitely. Finally, at the age of 44, Greg Kovac passed away from a massive heart attack. His story remains a stark reminder of the dangers of the bigger is better mentality in bodybuilding. Nasser El Sonbaty. Known as the Professor, Nasser El Sonbaty was more than just a massive physique. He had a sharp mind and spoke about the sport with clarity, insight, and a teacher's approach. Both on stage and off, he commanded attention, earning respect as one of the sport's most thoughtful and disciplined competitors of the 1990s. Nasser's physique was a striking balance of mass and aesthetics, inspiring thousands of young athletes chasing the dream of professional bodybuilding. He competed against the giants of the sport's golden era, collecting multiple podium finishes and building a reputation as one of the greatest athletes never to capture the Mr. Olympia title. His dedication was relentless. Grueling training sessions, near-perfect diets, and pre-competition routines that demanded military-level precision. To maintain that stage-ready condition, anabolic steroids and performance-enhancing substances were a necessary, if rarely discussed, part of life at the elite level. But the cost of such extreme discipline soon became apparent.
The weather here is still hot. I'm sweating the whole time. I'm doing lots of cardio.
Over the years, Nasser's body began showing the toll of carrying enormous muscle mass under constant strain. Long-term steroid use and performance enhancers placed immense pressure on his kidneys, leading to chronic renal issues. Despite appearing invincible, his internal health was quietly deteriorating. By 2013, the effects of years of relentless training and chemical strain became tragically clear. Nasser passed away in his sleep at just 47 years old, shocking the bodybuilding world. Atwood. In the world of professional bodybuilding, few names rose as quickly as Atwood. In 2000, he announced his arrival at the NPC Junior USA, claiming first place in the super heavyweight class and taking the overall title. That same year, he impressed further at the NPC Nationals and the NPC USA Championships. By 2001, Atwood had earned his professional status and made an immediate impact. He debuted at the Toronto Pro Invitational, securing a commanding first-place victory. The following year, he stepped onto bodybuilding's grandest stage, the Mr. Olympia, finishing 12th in his first appearance. Beyond Olympia, he challenged himself in international contests, including the Grand Prix Series and the Show of Strength Pro Championship, demonstrating both ambition and consistency. From 2003 to 2005, Atwood remained a fixture on the IFBB circuit, competing across Europe with strong performances in Hungary, Russia, Holland, and England. At the 2003 Grand Prix of Hungary, he earned a remarkable third-place finish. In 2005, he took the stage at the Arnold Classic, one of bodybuilding's most prestigious events. His final competitive season came in 2006, with appearances at the Europa Super Show, the Montreal Pro, and the Atlantic City Pro, after which he retired from active competition. On stage, Atwood's presence was undeniable. His dense, massive physique, combined with his perfect proportions, made him a showstopper. But maintaining that size and stage-ready condition came at a high cost. Years of grueling training, extreme dieting, and the use of anabolic substances took a relentless toll on his heart and organs. In 2007, he became involved in a federal investigation into steroid distribution during Operation Raw Deal. He cooperated with authorities, helping to secure over 100 arrests and the seizure of millions of doses. Though he avoided incarceration, the episode added a complex and sobering layer to his life story. Tragically, Art Atwood's journey ended far too soon. On September 11, 2011, while walking through the pool area of his Dallas condominium complex, he suffered a massive heart attack. Witnesses rushed to pull him from the water and performed life-saving measures until paramedics arrived, but he was pronounced dead at Baylor Regional Medical Center in Plano, Texas. He was only 37 years old. A coroner's report later revealed that he had unknowingly experienced a minor heart attack just weeks earlier, highlighting the silent strain his body had endured. Trevor Smith. Weighing over 180 kilograms, nearly 400 pounds, Trevor Smith towered over most competitors, capturing attention for both his immense size and the intensity with which he approached the sport. From an early stage, his philosophy was simple: push past limits, no matter the cost. He was the creator of the infamous Beyond Failure training method, a system designed to drive muscles to the absolute edge of exhaustion. Trevor believed that true results came only from working beyond conventional boundaries, and his approach left little room for compromise. His workouts were legendary for their severity, demanding extraordinary physical endurance and mental fortitude, and they quickly cemented his reputation within the hardcore bodybuilding community. But the same intensity that defined his training also defined his lifestyle. To achieve and maintain his colossal size, Trevor relied heavily on anabolic substances and hormones, combining chemical assistance with grueling physical stress. This cocktail of extreme effort and powerful compounds accelerated his muscle growth, but it also placed extraordinary strain on his cardiovascular system, liver, and kidneys. Chronic fatigue, high blood pressure, and early signs of organ stress were the hidden costs of a body pushed to extremes. Ultimately, the toll proved fatal. At just 33 years old, Trevor suffered a massive heart attack. Years of relentless training, combined with prolonged substance use and the constant burden of carrying nearly 400 pounds of muscle, had left his heart unable to sustain his body. Danielle Seccarecci. Born in Livorno, Tuscany, on February 17, 1980, Danielle Seccarecci first picked up weights at 16 to improve his judo performance. Within a year, he was competing in regional bodybuilding events, quickly showing a natural aptitude for the sport. By 2000, he claimed first place at the Venice Beach Grand Prix, marking the start of a rapid rise through both national and international competitions. Over the next few years, Seccarecci dominated junior categories, earning his IFBB Pro card in 2000 and setting his sights on the Mr. Olympia stage, a title previously held by legends like Arnold Schwarzenegger and Franco Columbu. Despite his massive size and undeniable presence, He never placed higher than 5th in professional contests, but his sheer mass and dedication earned him widespread admiration. Weighing 135 kilograms in competition, with arms officially measured at 55 centimeters, Seccarecci became known as one of the heaviest and most heavily muscled competitors in the sport. His size and impressive conditioning drew attention beyond the bodybuilding community, earning him features on an hour-long MTV special and appearances on primetime programs like Low Show Day Record, which celebrated extraordinary human achievements. In 2011, after returning from a competition in Las Vegas, Seccarecci was briefly detained in Milan on allegations of trading growth hormones and anabolic steroids. During his 6-day custody, his health rapidly deteriorated due to severe water retention, and medical authorities warned that continued detention could lead to cardiac arrest. He was released, and the charges were later dropped. Throughout the ordeal, Seccarecci remained defiant, stating, "My only crime is to be Danielle Seccarecci, the current best Italian representative of the sport." The extreme strain on his body was ever present. His heart and organs were under continuous pressure to sustain such a massive physique, amplified by the use of performance-enhancing substances and rigorous training. Less than a week after finishing 6th at the IFBB Nordic Pro Championships, Seccarecci was found lifeless at his home in Lama, a district of Toronto, on September 3, 2013. Reports indicate a suspected heart attack, proof of the harsh realities of carrying such extraordinary mass at the elite level. Thanks for watching. See you in our next video.